Hello and welcome back to part 2 of my talk, The Art of Grieving. So after we had Kiama's life celebration over, I fell in quite a deep depression. And then I didn't see any point of creating art anymore, and I felt really, even didn't feel the point of living. We had this on our table, the branches the ones left over which I didn't sell at the exhibition, and saw on it this little card with a metal bicycle. Bicycles became something very symbolic for bicycle equals Kiama. The only thing I did was making those little crochet birds just to keep my hands busy and to do something, and they were nice in that, hanging on the branches on the table. It was a bit like a little yeah thing for new life and some hope, a bit of color, and hope to the healing process basically started. Lots of my friends told me to keep on creating, and in 2013, so the year after, with her, around the anniversary, because she died on the 12th of May 11th of May 2012. So in May 2013, we went on, John and I went on to a road trip in America with my dear friend Mary. And we hired a camper van and took a trip. And some of my textile friends told me, take something with you to do, because I wasn't going to drive. My friend and my husband took it in turns to be up behind the wheel. And so I was sitting, in the back of the van when we were driving. And I had this little box with me with all kinds of little things to make a trail. And I called it Kiama's Charm. And it's a tribute trail through the USA. So this was June 2013. And I had lots of little, I make the charm from lots of little things, like, but this was in memory also of Kiama. What she liked was to make messages, and she left it on parked bicycles. And as the idea for this tribute trail in the US only came to me only a few days before we were going on holiday, I didn't have much time to think or prepare anything. So I got a little Tupperware box and filled it intuitively with 22 pieces, each of the following materials. So that's an empty sewing thread reel. So it is like this, which looks like the holder of a scroll and could tell several stories. The color of thread it carried, the projects it was used for, the identity of the sewer who used it. For me, the rail also connects with my life, to that of my mother and my daughter Kiama, passing on the love of sewing and creating from one generation to the next. Then there was a variation of colorful wooden beads from the time my daughters were small, and we liked to make wooden bracelets and necklaces together. And there was a rectangle coconut bead, which was pieces broken from a broken bracelet from Kiama, which she found in a drawer at her student room in Norwich, and her DNA might be still on it. Then there were some red feathers, and red for the love which connects us all. My father-in-law used to collect some of the feathers of his chickens and dyed them in all kinds of colors with the intention to use them on his fishing trips, on his boat, on the English Channel around Guernsey. In tidying up the house after his death, I took several bags home with me. Going to America, thinking Native American Indians, I had to take some feathers with me. To me, feathers symbolize wind, flight, a lightness of being, a tickle, soft, spirit, a whisper, Kiama. And I had some 22 golden snowflakes, something glittery, sparkling like her eyes, her laughs, some yards of blue cotton, a leftover from a jumper I knitted in 1986 during the breaks of my shifts on the hospital ward in Breda in the Netherlands. The jumper was for a friend, John, who I secretly fancied and who later became my husband and father of my children. Some yards of red white string, broken red, broken love. If I remember well, I got that string from a fellow textile artist and friend who had also lost a child suddenly and still so young. With this string, I want to show my love and connection to all mothers who have lost a child. We are not alone. A reel of strong red sewing thread to connect things together. Last but not least, I added 22 torn strips of yellow dyed cotton fabric to write on and wrap around the empty thread reels to make it into a scroll. Originally, the fabric was from a light blue bedroom curtain from John's flat in 1986, which I dyed yellow in the 90s. It didn't turn green, but it wasn't a clear yellow either. And then made new curtains from it for the girls' bedroom in our house in Canterbury. 22 charms throughout Washington, Oregon, and California. All locations were after the holiday recorded on my blog, The Enlightenment of a Housewife. Lovely replies when found article local newspaper in Odessa. It comes at the next. Here, this is in Odessa, where one of those charms was hanging on this bench. And the letters there, here, on this big container, make me think of a line in Kiama's bucket list: be spontaneous and dare yourself. So wherever we were, I put some of those charms and then took a photo and then recorded it later on my blog. And so there was here one hanging here in the skate park, and this is in Yellowstone Park. And it was an extremely therapeutic thing to do, to make this trail, to make those little charms and to put them somewhere. And then when people found them, you know, well, there was a link to my blog, and then they would contact me if it was found. And then in May 2014, I was invited to take part in some craft yarn bombing in St. Albans. So this is in a tree in St. Albans near where normally the market is. And I said, because it was May, again, the anniversary. So I said, I only take part if I'm allowed to put a picture of my daughter on there, because Kiama did her art foundation year in college in St. Albans. So I thought, you know, it needed to be there. So this is just a bit of an old trousers, some denim, and then I transferred her picture onto fabric. And then came another opportunity. I'm following on the blog several artists, and there is an artist, Sarah Lechner, she is oorspronkelijk from Argentina, and she lives back in Argentina, but lived for a long time in Austria. And I follow her blog because I like the way how she's very narrative in her art. And she saw on her blog that she put up a challenge for people to take part, and this was a booklet challenge. So you signed up, and then you under her guidance, you got ideas for making a little felt booklet, which every time when you had finished a page, you took a photo and then put that on a Picasa website and then shared with the rest of the people. And I didn't know any of the people, so this was a global community. So people from Argentina, from the Netherlands, from the UK, lots of people took part in it. And I decided, so the theme was up to you. So I decided to do it in memory of Kiama. And it became a lovely, not only a lovely little booklet, it became very important for me to talk about it, because you needed to explain, why was it Kiama. So you tell the story to the other people in the online community, and I got such a lovely, supportive, from total strangers for me, reactions back. And one lady from the Netherlands, she even said, can I get your personal address? I want to send you something. And then in the post a week later came a little parcel with some lovely fabric, forget-me-nots, which I put into this booklet, and some other lovely things. So, and I'm still, through Facebook, still in touch with some of the people which I've never met, but they meant an enormous amount to me, because it was very difficult to talk with my close friends, very close friends, okay, but the people normally don't want to talk about death and grieving, and they don't know how you feel. And this was people I didn't know, and they didn't know me, but the support was tremendous. So these are some of the pages in making of the book. Kiama wrote a bucket list after she saw, in the last year before she died, she saw the film, The Bucket List, with Morgan Freeman and I can't remember the other actor. And she wrote in her diary and her bucket list, which wasn't things like, I want to go to Paris, I want to do this, I want to do that. No, this was live your life to the full, be spontaneous and dare yourself. And that bucket list was later, because our eldest daughter wanted to give a speech and talk on the life celebration, and she used Kiama's bucket list. And that was then later picked up by the university, who asked if they could use it to make a big A1 poster out of it, which they did. And then they had an posthumous, they had an exhibition, end of year or end of degree exhibition, art exhibition, for which they put together an exhibition of Kiama's work, which was all about community art. And that bucket list was made and handed out to visitors to the exhibition. So these were little bits of it. And the felt was used over paper. So there's paper in between, which is from a dictionary, English, Dutch, Dutch, English, because she was half English, half Dutch. So this is presenting her Dutch side with a tulip, little beads, Delft's blue beads, which I found with her in her stash of things. These are bits of fabric of what was it? I think it was a coat which I made for her once, and this was from a dress. So there are bits of fabric in there which are from her, which are to do with her, and these are bits of the broken bracelets and some beads which she found in a little box from her. This is another book. She loved swimming, and as a teenager she was total mad of dolphins, everything dolphins, and the smiley face. She always had somewhere a smiley face sticker or something on there. and this eye in the cloud, which is a bit like, yeah, the awareness, spirit of her. On her at the end of the life celebration, the day that we took her body to the crematorium, in the celebration afterwards, we let up something like 100 balloons with friends and family. So this is the book closed. I think I'm, going over into the next part of the thing, which I do in the third